Welcome back to RealVacantLand.com. This is Luke Smith. I've got another property for you. This one I'm calling the cheapest land in San Diego County. It's 91, almost 92 acres. It's in Valley Center, and it's got roads that go all around it. It's got a bunch of trails like this, like going through the property. There's a canyon in the property that's got a bunch of, you can see this green behind my head here. It's got a bunch of big oak trees, and it just looks like a great place for kids to put some swings and swing out over the canyon or in the canyon. It's got rocks going up and just trees growing up over it, and it's a beautiful piece of the property. But the housing sites, this property has 5 housing sites already with engineering done to the land. Like, they've come up with good spots, so the engineers have come up with 5 good places to put a house. And back before the rules changed in the past, one of the previous owners was going to split this thing 5 ways. And so they got septic tests done on 5 locations. 2 of those locations are 5-bedroom septic approved in the past. Historical, you'd have to update it to modern times. And 3 of the locations had 4-bedroom septic approval. So it doesn't have a problem perking. You can put the septic into the ground in this property. So it's got these kinds of terrestrial views, like views out over a bunch of valleys in the area. You can see the valleys. There's a lot of avocado and citrus going on in the area. There's a lot of greenhouses, people growing things, and bigger houses. The tops of these hills have bigger houses, big, nice, beautiful houses looking out over these valleys. I believe there's multiple locations on this property to have those kinds of house settings with a lot of room to look out over the valleys as well. Now, this one being 91 acres, it's the county regulations. I forget the right word. the county general plan is what it's called. I believe it was ratified in 2016. Allows this to be split up into 20-acre properties or larger. So you could make 4 under current regulations. You can do 4 under old regulations. It was 5. So now it's 4 properties you could make out of this thing, and you could split it up 4 ways, making 20-plus acre properties each. You could look at the old engineering that I have on each one of these 5 sites and pick out your favorite. I'll bring up some pictures. I'll show you what my favorite would be. But you could pick out your favorite housing location and divide the lines accordingly to keep the part of the property that you want to keep the most. Like, I'd like to have this green canyon down here. build tree forts with the kids and stuff, but whatever you would like to do. There's a paved road that goes around kind of half or 2/3 of the property. I'll show you that as well. There's water lines that go along that road, so there's city water to a large part of this property. All the places you could put houses, there's a place to tee off to hook up water. There's a water well that was drilled on this property. It's kind of like over, you can't see it, but over there in the background, it's an 8-inch water well, which is a big one, right? It's like this kind of big 8-inch water well that is more of an agricultural water well than a residential. Residential is usually 3-4 inch, something like, that kind of thing. But this is like twice that, and twice the size of a pipe doesn't mean you get twice as much. It means it's a lot more. You get a lot more water out of that. And there was an old plan historically to clear cut this thing and plant avocados. So I think that's when they put the 8-inch water well in, they were trying to supply a massive amount of avocados. Avocados aren't economic really in San Diego County anymore, but people are growing lots of other things. And usually the water cost, the labor cost, and the price of avocados, all of them mixed together. People aren't really planting and growing avocados actively anymore. They're running with the old trees they have, and they're not planting more. But greenhouses and lots of other things that people are growing in the area. So let's jump into it. So on RealVacantLand.com, it's got Luke Smith, phone number, email stuff. You can contact me. I've got a realtor on this one. He'll give you tours, or I might even meet you out there for this one. This one is, I'll blow up some pictures. Here's some drone shots. I took a bunch of pictures of this property too, but this is the drone guy that took these pictures. And this is the picture that I was just using in the background before. So this is my favorite house site of the property. This is, I don't know what to call it. This is the top of the hill. So at the top of the hill, there's a nice hilltop piece here, and there's a driveway that would come in off the road and come around, and it does like a circle up to the top, like a corkscrew thing to the top. There's some straight shots up to get up there too, but I think this roundabout driveway makes a lot more sense. If you can see my mouse, there's a water connection that comes to this hill here that also hooks to the house there's a house on the other side over here that's off the picture. It's a nice paved road. You can drive in, drive around, and go for it. These driveways go in lots of different directions around the property. So let's see where we're at here. So this is that same hill spot is over here. Some neighbors with some greenhouses, and the property is like everything here. It's a big property. Goes around. We'll see some more angles. So here's that road again. From this corner, if you're driving into the property from this corner, like all this brown stuff behind us is the property. Here's some more shots. There's multiple different house sites to choose from. Let's go back. So yeah, so this is the hill. This is the hill from the other direction with the driveway right here. And I think this would be a nice house site on top of this hill. That's one of the engineered housing sites. There's a driveway that comes into the property here, and this one is there's a water aqueduct that goes under the property, and it's a 4-foot pipe, which is huge in my opinion for water. I was talking to one of the water engineer guys, and he said a lot of them are 16 and 20 foot that move water around San Diego County. 4-foot is more of a regional kind of pipe. The guy I was talking to is putting steel lining in those pipes all around the county and extending the life of them. So they're probably going to do that or have done that to this one here. It goes under the property. So there's a driveway with a gate here. If you go see that gate, there's an easement that they've got that goes a strip of land through the property. And it doesn't mess with any of the housing locations. Like, it doesn't even get close to the housing locations. You can see that canyon that runs through there that I was talking about, that's got the beautiful trees and running water. It's got running water in it at the surface. So this is the back side of the property. Here's that driveway I was telling you about that's got the water aqueduct underneath it. So this whole part of the property down here is not part of the engineered usable place in the plans that I have. I mean, you could use it. I mean, you just do some engineering and stuff. Not where the easement is. There's an easement right here for the water aqueduct to run under the property, but the rest of it can be used. Just below down here, down this road, is where the water well is located. And there's a water line that runs all along this street on the side, the boundary of the property. Okay, so here's a shot. There's more pictures on the website. You can go to this website, ruralvacantland.com, by going to the link in the description below. It'll take you back to the website. You can look at these pictures. So here's a cartoon of the boundaries of the property. Here's that water aqueduct access road that I was talking about. The water well is kind of in the corner over here, and it's kind of hiding in the bushes. There's more irrigation pipelines or hookups along this road to get irrigation water from the city, and all along the road on both sides of this property there's a bunch of hookups for water. There's power lines along these roads too. So this side and that side over there both have roads running along it. The far side out into the distance goes back down into the canyon, and there's no roads along that side. These two sides have the roads. This side over here, if my arm could reach out over there, is where the lineup of the housing sites is. Okay, so let me get my bearings here. So the hill we were talking about is back here. This hill, I think, was my favorite housing site. And then there's another housing site here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's one out on the edge of this thing is 5. So there's 4 of them in here. No, let me get that. I get it. I didn't do that right. There's one on the other side of this hill. And then there's one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The 5 one out there, I think, you get some really awesome views. This one gets some awesome views too. This one, you get the most flat land. A whole bunch of flat land. You're right next to that canyon too. Okay, so this thing goes, you'll be able to see it from a bunch of different directions. It's hard to explain 91 acres. There's a lot of land here to look at. But it's got these little trails all over it. So you can hike all over it, look at it. I hiked all over the place looking at this thing. See some nice houses in the area, big pools, big houses, big pools. Those are the kinds of neighbors we're talking about. And a greenhouse. So I think we've gone around and around and around on the pictures. So let's jump into the website. Let's look at the map. So here's a shot of this thing from above. It's a goofy shape. So let's start up here. So this is, if you're coming in from the freeway, let's zoom out. I'll show you where we're at. So San Diego's down here, right? This is all San Diego. And this is North County. This is Interstate 15 runs along here. Let's run the map. So here's Escondido, and Temecula is up here. To the top of the screen, Temecula. And we're closer to Escondido. And this is Old Castle Road to the north. This is Highway 15. You would get off at Gopher Canyon. Gopher Canyon is here. Old Castle Road is here. And it's like 3 miles. It's not very far from the freeway. It's a really quick trip from the 15 to the turnoff on, I forget the name of this road. Wilkes, yeah, Wilkes Road. So you go to Old Castle, Wilkes, take Wilkes south, and then when it splits into 2 different ways, all the rest of it's your property. So it goes from there back down into the canyons. This Coulter Creek Road is the part of the property that the water pipeline goes underneath. And then the water well is over here. You can see the neighbors. I mean, they're doing, this is a neighbor house lot, right? You can see the size of their house lots. Look at the size of this property, right? Like it's huge compared to the neighbors' houses. So there's one house lot in here that's engineered with septic. Then there's the hill, which is, you can see the roads coming around to come up to the top of the hill. That's my favorite house site. So that's 2. And then there's the flat spot here, which is the most flatness, which is 3. And then there's one down here, which is 4. And then there's a driveway that comes out here, that comes off here. And then there's a nice spot over here for 5. I like this spot too. I mean, this would be the best for horses. There's all kinds of room to run horses around this property if you just want to keep the thing for yourself. But I'm calling this the cheapest land in San Diego, and I'm asking $1.5 million. And you say, Luke, how is $1.5 million the cheapest land in San Diego? Because you can split this 4 ways. I'm pointing out 5 different house sites. You can pick your 4 favorite ones. You pick out your favorite one to put a house on. Put your house on your favorite house site and go to do the paperwork. It'll take about 2 years to do the paperwork in San Diego County. You hire a surveyor, engineer guy, and a surveyor that does the paperwork on this. They survey it out. We've got surveys in the past where the septic is and where everything is. It's not like there's a risk of the septic not working. It's been done before. I mean, it should be brought up to modern standards, but it's not like it's not going to perk. It'll perk at some rate, right? And so you go make it happen, and you draw up 4 20-plus acre properties out of this thing. And you apply, and you send in the paperwork, you meet all the regulations, they have the surveyor meet all the regulations, you pay them, you pay some fees, like 35 grand, 34 something to do it. And so you pay the surveyor, you pay the county, and you're probably talking like, less than 50 grand. You got the thing surveyed out and fees paid, and 2 years of waiting, you got it split. While you're waiting that 2 years to go through the regulations, you might be able to get it done in 18 months. I'm just saying 2 years, maybe even less if you really know what you're doing. But 2 years, I think, more average-ish time. You can be building your house on your favorite location. And then you can sell off, when all that paperwork goes through the regulatory hurdles, you can sell off 3 of those lots, sell off the 3 that you're not living on. And so you go sell those for $500,000 each, $500,000, $500,000, $500,000. You add that together, you got $1.5 million. That's what I'm asking for this property. I'm asking $1.5 million for this property. And so by doing that split and selling it off, you're basically getting the thing for free. I mean, okay, maybe the $50,000 worth of splitting and surveying and that stuff, paperwork pushing to make it happen. But I mean, 20 acres for 50 grand. Someone, I think, will take off with this and make it happen and make out really well. So I invite you to come look at this property, check this one out. It's on Wilkies Road and Mystery Mountain Road, Wilkies and Mystery Mountain in Valley Center. It's Northern Valley Center off of Old Castle Road, Gopher Canyon's the exit. And you shoot back here and look at this thing. This is one of the largest non-developed pieces of property around. And that just spells opportunity. And not only is it not developed, it's when you look at other large acreage in San Diego County, it's all like, I mean, super hilly. And this thing has places you can build a house without being on super crazy hill. There's some hills in this property, but it's not, you know, so hill you can't stand on it or anything. This thing is much closer to flat than anything else that I see on the market or have seen on the market or have come across in all my mailers and mailing everybody in the county that owns vacant land like half dozen times or more, making them cash offers. This is the best deal I could come up with. This is, you know, one you should look at. So let me jump out of there. I've got, go look this thing up. We've got comps on here. If you pull it up on Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, Realtor, whatever, you'll see that the realtor on this one is Andy Crane and his phone number on there and everything. You call him and talk to him about it. He'll give you the rundown, or you can ask me too, and I'll give you the paperwork. And the paperwork's all public. It's public domain. If you go into the San Diego County website, you can get the old septic reports and engineering reports that were done in the past on this property. It's got the buy now button. Yeah, that's not working. It's not doing $1.5 million buy now button on the website. Sorry. We're doing it through a title company, and I'll do something to fix that buy now button. Okay, GPS coordinates, zoning, agricultural. So this is GPS coordinates. If you click on that in your phone, it'll give you driving directions over to the property. So click on that green thing, and you drive over there and look at it. Yeah, so there we go. There's the property. I'm calling that cheapest land in San Diego County because you can basically get it for free by buying it, splitting it 4 ways, selling off 3 of the pieces, keeping your favorite piece for yourself for free, basically free. You got to capitalize it, but at the end of the day, that's some pretty cheap land for San Diego County. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's Luke Smith, RuralVacantLand.com. See you in the next one.